Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Kingdom Conscience Conversations podcast. I'm your host again, Selena Gilboy, and I'm so glad that you're here with us. This is a special podcast for me because I have my special guest today is my first forever friend, Miss Meredith Hurston. How are you?
Hey, friend.
I've been trying to get her to do this with me for quite a long time, and finally, everything aligned and we were able to sit and chat. But I
I'm
just
super
wanted to,
excited to be here.
I'm so glad. We're so glad to have you. This is your official introduction. My first forever friend. Everybody has to know you because you're so special to me.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
and the topic of one of the topics, we'll probably bounce around a little bit, but one of the main topics of our conversation today is going to be the power of friendship. And I'm going to let Meredith kind of tell you a little bit about herself first. And um, we're going to talk about how we met. And I really wanted to do this just to really kind of pay homage to her because she stepped up as a friend. Not that she was ever a bad friend, but when I got sick, y'all, she just touched my heart in such a special way. So, but we'll get to that. So, Meredith, can you tell the people who you are, where you reside, and anything you want us to know about
So I'm Meredith. Meredith Hurston. I live in Baltimore. I've been in Baltimore for 12 years. I'm originally from Flint. What up, though? Flint Town,
yourself?
Fly City, the 810. That is home. Grew there, born there. Grew up there all my life. And I moved to Baltimore, I guess, 12 years ago. And should I say how we met?
Sure. We're going to talk about it. Yeah.
So Selena and I met, I guess, when we were babies or toddlers.
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah, we were babies. So my mother was a school teacher out in Beecher Community Schools. She was teaching at Summit. She taught at Summit for a long time, and then she moved on to the high school. But my mom taught a lot of the Gill kids, which is Selena's family. So my mom became very close with some of them, and then like before she had me, before my time. So, my mom, she met my dad and they got married and they had me. And I don't know how the story went, but I'm imagining in my head that, she was expecting and like had a baby. She was a school teacher. So, of course, the topic of childcare comes up.
Mhm.
And so, Selena's grandmother, Mrs. Juanita Gill, she stepped up and she was like, you've been so kind to my family and my kids. I'm happy to keep your daughter for you. And so I started going over, I called her Miss Gill. I started going over Miss Gill's house since I was a baby and probably never stopped.
Right, right,
And
right.
that is where I met Selena.
Yeah. And so I kind of introduced this idea of, they say you can't choose your family, but you choose your friends. I think in some instances, God will choose your friends and you choose whether or not they stay. They say some people are in your life for a moment, some are there for a lifetime. And I truly believe that you are here for a lifetime. And, even though we don't talk every day, I think we both have that where we don't really like to talk on the phone a lot, but, we check up and we check in, as you say. And when we need each other, I think we're there for each other. And so I really just,
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you, when I was sick, mm-mm-mm, Meredith called me. She called me probably on a weekly basis, checking up, how am I doing? And because of her background and her career, she knew a lot about things that I should be looking for, as far as my blood tests and tests that I could ask for. So she was such a wealth of information, and I don't even know if you really think how much you helped me. And it meant so much because I was in such a strange place and I felt alone, even though I did have my family checking on. But to have a friend all the way in Baltimore calling me, and I could tell that she genuinely cared. We said we wasn't gonna cry on here. I don't even know why my
We're
eyes.
not doing that today
Okay, okay.
at all.
But I do. I'm telling you, I love you so much, and I mean, it just. Now I'm gonna tell you, when we was growing up, I always wanted to be like you. Did I tell you that?
Why?
You know
you
why? Let me tell
you
you.
have never told me that. Good
Never
Lord,
told you that.
why?
And you know why? Because it seemed like you had it all growing up. It did. It seemed like you had it all. Every time I would come, and you know how it was back in the day. We didn't get to spend the night over people's house like that.
Mm-mm.
But my mom allowed me to spend the night with you. And I don't think it was a lot, but it was a couple times I remember. Your mom was so sweet, so nice. Your dad, I remember him so sweet and nice. And it just seemed like you had everything. I would go over there. She had a piano. She had every gadget. She had a saxophone. She had a canopy bed. I'm telling all your business. She had everything. And I was like, dang, man, this must be nice. Just tell
I
you,
never knew this. This is hilarious.
as a kid, though, we always looking at others and like, man, she got it made. She don't have no siblings to take care of. She don't have no, But it was nice hanging out. Always enjoyed coming over to your house. You made one of my memories is you made eating chocolate ice cream look so good.
What I do?
I think that was your favorite
I
ice
was
cream at
being
the
greedy.
time. But that's a crazy memory. But okay, you know me. But I was like, man, see, that. I mean, you just seemed like everything was perfect for you. You was, in a lot of activities, and you did a lot of things, and I just enjoyed it. So, needless to say, as I rambled, I'm so glad that God brought you into my life, and I really do believe this is a forever friendship. So I'm so grateful. So
Yeah, I am forever thankful that you are, my forever friend and like my family. And, thankful for your family as a whole. Like, I always had somewhere to go. Like I was always able to be, around other kids and, people that knew the Lord. And, thankfully my mom, someone stepped up to, childcare that, knew God, and I wasn't exposed to probably things that I shouldn't have been exposed to at an early age.
mhm.
So that's a blessing. So yeah, I always like, coming around you guys with a big family, lots of kids, people to play with, things to do. So yeah, I enjoyed that. So my you see, my favorite memory, this isn't really from childhood. This is as an adult. But speaking about being sick, I wasn't necessarily sick, but I had to have surgery in 2013. And I was so scared. That was my first time having like major surgery. I had to have a myomectomy to have some fibroids removed. And you called me and you were like, I'm coming to see about you. And I was like, what? I was like, no, I'm okay. I had a little boyfriend at the time. And I was like, oh, he gonna look out for me, which he did.
uh,
But Selena got on the plane and she came out here and she was like, I want to make sure that, you're good. I want to lay eyes on you and make sure that you're good and see if there's anything I can do for you. You came and stayed for what, like 4 days or so?
I think so. 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Yep. That
And
was that was a blessing and I appreciate you for that.
and even though you were recovering, you rolled out the red carpet. I think it was close to my birthday, and we had a wonderful dinner and all that stuff. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But that's the power of friendship, and all relationships are really important. But sometimes we do take for granted those those people who maybe don't come from the same genetic code as we do. But I do believe you're much more than a friend. You are like family. I'm so comfortable around you. I can talk. I don't feel like I have to put on airs, and I really think that's what a true friend is. Like, you take me for who I am, my quirkiness. I don't feel like I got to put on. And one thing I believe, and even the scripture talks about it, that you want it. It says iron sharpens iron. You want some friends that's going somewhere. You don't want friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want friends that you always got to pull up, but you want some friends that's going to encourage you to come higher. And you have truly been that friend. One of the things I want to talk about And I mentioned to you earlier, you seem to have a fearlessness when it comes to being adventurous, or, and I don't know if fearlessness is the right word. If you don't think so, you can change it. But that's what I see you as. Like, you don't have fear. You try new things. And I love that about you. You're so adventurous. A couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, you took a trip to Africa by yourself.
Yep. Yep. And
And
to be honest with you, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Tell us about that.
I was gonna say, to be honest with you, I don't really know where that comes from. I don't know if it was because I was raised as an only child, like, I'm not afraid to do things by myself. I mean, and I won't say I'm not afraid. I have a little bit of fear, but I'll just go ahead and do it. I don't know if you've ever heard that story, heard that phrase, do it scared. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go ahead and do stuff. Because I'm like, I thought about it for a long time. I'm like, this is a little bit crazy. But how I ended up I went to Ghana in December of 2019, and how I ended up going was in December 2018, like around the holiday times, on Instagram. I think it was Essence magazine
Mm-hmm.
might have posted like a bunch of pictures from Afrochella. It was like Boris Kojo and Nicole Ari Parker and a bunch of celebrities and stuff were
Mm-hmm.
over in Ghana for Afrochella, and they had all of these, bright, vibrant colors of clothes on, and they showed some pictures of where they had gone to like the slave dungeons and done some historical things for context and culture. And I was like, I want to go. I got to be there, for the Afrochella. I was like, I got to go. So I had purposed in my heart then that I was going the next year, and I did. And I went by myself. I think I told a few people, and nobody was really able to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought my ticket in March and booked my little Airbnb, and I went for 10 days, and I had a ball. And it was like, God lined everything up. It was kind of like divine orchestration, because I didn't know anybody in Ghana. Like, I know some people that are Ghanaian, but I didn't know anybody in Ghana. So I booked my Airbnb. It was like a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was staying by myself. I had gotten a second room in case somebody decided to kind of join me at the last minute as I was sharing my plans, but I ended up going solo. And they were the nicest people. It was a upstairs apartment in a house. Like, I had my own private interest and all of that. But the hosts for the Airbnb, they were the nicest people. They made me food. I paid the lady to make me some dresses and stuff. But my tour guide, I kind of happened up on him because I posted in a Facebook group. Um, where I searched a travel Facebook group about Ghana, and this lady had, the previous year, she had posted about her experience going to Ghana, and I inboxed her and asked her, did she know of any tour guides? And um, ironically, she ended up living right here in Maryland, so we actually met before I went to Ghana. But she referred me to a tour guide, and
Mm-hmm.
he did my tour. He took me several different places, and it worked out great. I didn't have any issues. There was never a time I was scared, or felt like I couldn't call anyone, or like I was in danger. It was awesome. I had an amazing time. But that fearlessness, I don't really know. I don't know where it comes from. It's like a stubbornness. When I get something in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna do it, and unless God drops in my spirit that's not something you should be doing, or
Mm-hmm.
I feel some sense of angst or something about it, then I proceed.
Wow. Girl, I love that so much. That's one of the major things that I admire about you. But I heard you say, unless God gives me something in my spirit, and that's the key. I want to stop and encourage people right now we got to have that sense of fearlessness. A lot of times we sit around and say, oh, I wish I would have, I could have, I should have did this. But really the power is within you. God says, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And when you connect with that spirit that's in you, that I believe told you, you know what, that's the check system. I like to say it's kind of my check system. If you feel something weird in your spirit, God is saying, don't do that. As long as you have that there available to you, you good. And to have that ability to just go, even if the other people say they don't want to go with you. A lot of times, sometimes we allow people to stop us because they don't want to do it. So
Yeah, and you can't
nobody.
let people dictate, your future and your life's enjoyment. You
Yes.
what you called to do, what you feel led to do, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Long as it's not out of the will of God, go on and do it.
Absolutely. And I really hope that those that are listening hear that and are encouraged because, you only get one life to live. And as long as you keep God first, He created this great world for us. And I don't want to leave personally. I don't want to leave this world having not, just seen my street and my community. It's so much more world to be explored. And so I thank you for sharing that. And you definitely have encouraged me to be a little bit more fearless. It's funny you say it could be your stubborn will, just like when I get something in my mind, it's just gonna happen. You know,
Pretty much.
that's funny. That's funny, but whatever it takes to get you, when you get your mind on something. I was talking to my husband. There's nothing you can't. People do what they want to do. It ain't nothing you cannot do. It's
Hmm.
if you want to put the effort and put whatever it takes to get there. And
Agreed.
yes, to persevere, to be tenacious, to push past every obstacle, because I'm sure there were probably times while you were planning for the trip that you said, well, maybe I won't go. Maybe I'll just wait till this time. But something in you said, nope, no, come on, let's just do it. Not knowing that we were going to go into a pandemic and you wouldn't have been able to do it that next year, probably.
Mm-mm. I would not have been able to go in 2020.
Mhm.
And it was a great time. I met so many cool people. Like some people I still keep in touch with, on WhatsApp. We're connected on Facebook. It was amazing. I would have. I can't say I would have regretted it if I didn't go because I wouldn't have been able to experience it to not know. But I absolutely, made the right choice. I don't have any regrets about going, and I definitely want to go back and take people with me because I feel like we need to see that history and understand that the history and connection that we have with Africa.
Absolutely, God's willing. I've already told you I want to be on that. I want to be on that trip with you. So I pray that everything works out that I can make that happen.
I pray so too. By the close of 2023, we gonna have to have bust a move.
Yes, please. Now let's shift to a new area of this that I've seen this fearlessness, if you will, in your life, in your career. You have had a life in this short span of time. I mean, you've been a lot of different things. I know you've been in the army. You've
Yep,
traveled,
I was in the
of course.
reserves.
Yep, you traveled, of course. We talked about that, and then you've had several different jobs. And the job that you're in right now, it's a great one. It sounds so good, but you're not satisfied. So tell us about where you are now and, and what you're doing. Can you do that?
I can.
Okay.
Look, who gonna see this? No, I'm just playing.
No.
No, so before I left Flint, I was working at Hurley. I had worked at McLaren, so I've been working in healthcare for over 25 years. I'm telling my age, but mind y'all business. But I've been working in healthcare for over 25 years, and I started out working for Quest Diagnostics as a phlebotomist. Then I moved on to McLaren. I started there as a phlebotomist, then I became a lab assistant, and I finished school to get my medical technology degree, which is clinical laboratory scientist. So I became a med tech and I started working as a med tech at Hurley. And I did that. I left Hurley in December of 2009 and I relocated to Baltimore. And I came here for a job as a quality specialist for the laboratory. So, well, my title was like QA technologist or something like patient safety data coordinator, something like that. And I got promoted one time since I've been here, but I'm looking to like switch trajectories. I'm looking to pivot into technology. So, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Like I've wanted to um look for new work for a while, but I also have an entrepreneurial spirit. So every time it would be time to look on Indeed or look on LinkedIn at jobs, I could never figure out what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And, it finally kind of became a little bit more clear. I would say around 2019, I'm like, I want to move into tech. And I was thinking about like learning cloud stuff to be a solutions architect. Um, so Fast forward to today, like last year, at my job, I was able to get into a program where I could learn data analytics, learn more about data analytics, because that's something that I do in the day to day anyway, but to learn some more advanced data analytic tools.
Mm-hmm.
And that has really been a blessing, and it has really broadened my knowledge base about technology and all the things that I could do. So I just recently completed that program in April. So I've learned like SQL programming, so you can query databases and extract data. I've learned Tableau, which is a data visualization tool. And what else did we learn? Those are probably the big two. And I've also been learning Python. And with Python, I've been doing some machine learning stuff. So outside of the program I was in at work, I've also been working on my own projects, outside of work at home. So I recently built a machine learning script in Python that will allow you to read. It's called natural language processing, so it can basically read spreadsheets and it can classify text. So that's a pretty big deal for me because it's going to help me with my job. So ultimately, I want to use that skill set to propel me into a technology focused career. I would like to do something that's like healthcare adjacent or still healthcare related, but I want my job to be more tech focused. And that's really, where the money is, but I also have an interest in technology too. And I'm at a place where I really need to advance my career and find a more lucrative salary.
Yeah, and I admire that so because a lot of times we get kind of complacent. People we get comfortable, complacent, and to have the wherewithal to have a desire and not leave it on the back burner, but pick it up and really start to get those wheels moving on that. I mean, I love it. I love it. The
Because
reason
regardless of me thinking that I'm a spring chicken, I'm really not.
I heard them say you're as young as you feel. How about that?
Sure. Look, if I don't get up and move these bones, I'm gonna feel old. So
Right. Good. Yes, but I mean, and again, this is a wonderful opportunity to encourage our listeners that it is never too late. If you got
mm-mm.
something in the back of your mind that you've always had like a love for, and you really wanted to take time and delve into it, I want to tell you right here, go for it. Because what is the saying where it says nothing beats a try, or nothing.
Nothing beats a failure but a try.
There you go. That's it. Nothing beats a failure but a try.
And
It's
right now, that's so true. Right now, you can learn how to do anything. I won't say it's easy to reinvent yourself because it takes a lot of hard work. But if there ever was a time where the barriers have been removed, the internet, Google and YouTube, you could learn so many things on
absolutely.
Google and YouTube. And if you want to pay for it, Coursera and Udemy, you can learn a whole lot of many things.
Hmm.
If you're interested in changing your trajectory or pivoting or something like that. So if you have something, purpose in your heart, absolutely go for it for sure.
Yes, and listen, y'all. She's encouraged me. You know, with the situation I've been going through. I said I don't want to just sit here idle. What else can I do? And I really kind of started to have an interest in graphic design. So, I've sought out some workshops and got on good YouTube and just practicing and thankfully, our church lets us practice on them. So I get to make things and do things so yes, be encouraged. If you want to make that shift, if you want to make that pivot, you're right. This is the time, especially after COVID and with the rise of people working from home or more jobs being available, working from home. Hey, you know, make it happen. Make it happen.
Can I
Try it.
can
Mm-hmm.
I stop and say something? I am so proud of you, friend.
Oh, thank
I'm so proud of you.
you. I mean,
Because we have talked about, like different tools and stuff, you can use in different entrepreneurial, adventures. And I know that this has been a challenging time with you being sick and, adjusting and, claiming your healing and being restored
mhm,
and working.
yeah.
So I'm so proud of you and, this podcast, that you started out on. I think this is great. This is
Oh,
great. I'm
thank you.
super proud
That
of you.
means a lot, and you have been a real driving force behind it, and more is to come because she really trying to get me to do these classes online. I'm still trying to figure it out. Do some piano and some music classes. I know
Oh
it.
yeah, we don't spoke some life over you. We're not gonna talk about all that on the podcast, but we
Oh,
don't we don't spoke some, on the phone. We have the good keys and the conversations, and
right.
we're the holders of each other's secrets. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. That's great. But more is to come. More is to come. I'll leave it right there. And speaking of your entrepreneurial spirit, initially that's what I thought this podcast was going to be, to push that. But you told me, can we just talk about it? It ain't there no more. But talk about the company that you have. You don't want to do that.
We
It's
can
up to
talk about it. We
you.
can talk about it actually. So I still get orders. So I have a skincare company. It's called Meredith Essentials. I started making soaps and body butters. It was like 2007. It was before I left Flint. Um
Yeah,
and I kind of
handmade
stopped.
soaps and
Mm,
body butters.
I stopped because my mom. I got married in 2007 and got divorced in 2008. My mom died in 2008. 2008 really wasn't a good year, so the business kind of suffered as a result of that.
Mhm.
And I didn't pick it back up until 2015. But yeah, I restarted Marita's Essentials. So we made soaps. We moved on to like body wash. We don't make as many soaps anymore. Body butters, but I'm not focused on that business right now. I'm not doing a lot of promotion of that business because I am trying to upskill and pivot into a tech focused job. So I spend
Mhm.
a lot of time learning. But yeah, I've had quite a bit of experience with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint at heart.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
absolutely. But I
It's
just wanted
not easy, but yeah, it's a path that you can take and be successful in for sure.
hmm but lots of work. Lots of work.
Lots of work.
Yeah. A lot of people maybe, and I guess I shouldn't say a lot, but some people may think when I work for myself, then but they don't understand. There's still deadlines, timelines. There's still, you have to be consistent. You got to have your product in front of people's face. You got to advertise. There's so many moving parts that have to be on point to get the success that you're looking for. So, yeah, I just wanted you to touch there, that just is another, you know, proof of your well-roundedness. You're just fearless and awesome. Yeah. So
Yeah, anybody that has an entrepreneurial spirit, I encourage you to pursue it. Um, I would also encourage you to pursue it with a little bit of money saved. Like, it's not something that I recommend you quit your job and just jump off into. Like, start whatever venture you have, with a little bit of money saved, and try to grow it while you're still working. To me, that's the best case scenario. But a lot of times there's so much hustle culture and entrepreneurial culture, out here right now. People make it seem like it's easy and, oh, you can start a business with $50. You can. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but you can.
mm,
You really need to have some dollars ready to invest for it to take off like you probably would want it to.
yeah, yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. So, as we close here, listen, like we in church,
I'm getting ready to close.
right? Mother's Day is upon us, and I do want to tell you that during this weekend, and as I always do, I will keep you in my prayers. I pray for you, and I pray that God covers you and keeps you. But like you said, you lost your mother in 2009, um,
Yep, 2008.
2008,
Yep.
2008. Okay, and I want you to just share, especially being an only child. Um, just share about that experience because I know a lot of times, when we come to holidays like this, it's really a difficult time for people who have lost there. But I want you to just share about your mom. She was a great person.
So, going back to, I think when I first introduced myself. Like my mom, her name was Virginia Hurston. She was a school teacher in Beecher. She's from Alabama. She's from a little small town, Camp Hill, Alabama. And you know what? Talking about adventure, I got some of my adventure from my mother.
Okay. See?
Because my mother is from a really small, like rural community in Alabama. She, her mother had an eighth grade education, I believe, because my grandmother's father would not allow her to go to school. So my grandmother, her name was Maggie, she it was very important for her for my mother to be able to go to school. My mother was the youngest child.
Hmm.
But it was very important for her for my mom to be able to go to school. So she, saw to it that my mom was able to go to school and go to high school. And my mom graduated from high school when she was 16 years old. She was valedictorian of her class, and
Wow.
she went on to Selma College in Alabama. And from that was like a 2-year school, and so she moved from Selma when she graduated there. She went on to Alabama A&M University, and when she completed her, I guess, degree in teaching, she she wasn't really able to find work there. So I think she said she saw an ad in the newspaper, and she took the bus to New York to get a job there. And the job was like doing like domestic work, like that movie The Help.
Yeah.
So the job was gonna be her doing domestic work, and she was like, "No, I don't want to do this." So she got back on the bus and went back to Alabama. But because she was the youngest, she had older siblings, and one of my uncles, Uncle Johnny, had moved to Detroit, and he was working in the shop, and somewhere or another, or something like that, one of her brothers,
Hmm.
their wives, it was my Uncle Sam, his wife Lula, knew somebody that worked in Beecher or something like that and knew of a job. So my mom moved up there to Detroit, and she ended up getting a job in Beecher like through this, connection to her sister-in-law. So my mom worked in Beecher for 31 years. And she met and married my dad along the way and had me. But yeah, she impacted a lot of people. Like I'm friends with some of her former students and stuff on Facebook.
That's wonderful.
She made an impact. So that's one of my prayers, is that I can be as half as impactful as my mother was.
Mhm. Well, you are definitely there. If you didn't impact nobody but me, I know that you're a part of a sorority. You didn't even say that you're a Delta,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yep.
Delta Sigma Theta.
So I know you guys do like community outreach and work and things like that. So you
Yeah,
definitely
public service.
yeah, definitely have made an impact. But yeah, I just wanted to. So you discovered where you got your fearlessness or your sense of adventure from your mom, because
Yeah,
it
from my mother.
yeah, it takes a lot to be able to come from a small town and just chart a course on your own. You know, so
Yeah,
that's great. That's
yeah.
great.
She was very determined, probably a little bit stubborn, definitely adventurous, and a little bit of fearless too. But yeah, she
That's
made a way for herself, and she definitely, lifted herself out of poverty, because when they were growing up, they were poor. So she definitely, raised herself up from that, and made a path for herself, made a good life for herself, and
mm.
left a legacy.
Now turning connecting again to your new adventures in like coding and things like that. Um, I remember you telling me that your mom, it was important to her that you were involved in tech things like way back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
go ahead.
so how old was I? Maybe 7 or 8. So, well, let me back up. So, however old I was, I remember they bought me a computer, a TRS-80 computer from
Mm.
Radio Shack, and it was one of those computers that had a cassette tape for a disk drive.
Oh
So
wow.
it was like a literal, like little cassette tape that you would put in there, and that was like the disk drive that how you program the computer to do stuff.
Okay.
Like, and so they always believed in making sure that like I had a computer like since I was a kid. Before my father passing. So I went from like the TRS-80 to, I think she bought me an Ecos computer. I don't know if you remember Ecos. They used to be
Yes.
on Miller Road. She bought me an Ecos computer. It was like the little desktop tower. and you would change out the floppy disk and all of that. She bought me a laptop. So yeah, and my mother did not know how to work a computer at all. I don't think she could even turn one on. But she was like, it's important. I know that this is something that you need in order to be successful in life. She believed in, like, her mother wanted her to be successful and set up and made sure that she was able to go to high school and all of that stuff. My mother wanted to make sure that, I had the tools to give me a good chance at life. Um, and I wasn't really interested in studying computer science and stuff when I was in school. I was definitely thankful that I had, the tools and knew how to use the tools, but I wasn't interested in studying like computer science when I went to college. But I've always known how to use technology. I didn't really understand how it works, but I've always known how to use technology. So it's interesting going back now, understanding how it works and learning how to code and build stuff. And it's crazy to me, like artificial intelligence. Like, you could teach the computer how to read words, and you could teach the computer how to talk. Like, you could teach the computer how to do anything.
Wow.
And it's absolutely fascinating.
Wow. Well, it sounds very fascinating. And I'm telling you, you are a fascinating person. And I'm so glad that God has blessed you to be my forever friend. And I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. This was fun, and I'm glad to formally introduce you to my audience as my first forever friend. And so I just appreciate you so much. This has been great. Um,
This was awesome, and we didn't cut up. Good for us.
we didn't.
Because, we go out for the 99 and the 2000s. But okay, yeah, we did good. You know, friends.
Right, right. And look, and she has on our merchandise. Look,
I
so if
do.
you don't have yours, those of you who are viewing us on YouTube, you don't have yours, and even those that are listening, go to www.thekingdomconscience.com and you can pick up yours. We have several colors. I thank you so much, friend, for doing that for me. Oh,
We got merch. Get your merch at the Kingdom Conscious Podcast.
I appreciate it so much. Well, I love you to life, and I'm praying for you. I'm praying that God's best is all that you have. I pray that all the desires of your heart that He will give you in Jesus.
Thank you. I received that. I
Yes,
receive it.
yes.
Yay and amen.
Until next time, you all, thank you for tuning in. And I want you all to keep living for the kingdom. All right. Bye bye.
Love you, friend.
Love you.